and welcome to Journeys and Journals. Highway 99 has significance to all of us in Southern Oregon, but 99 takes on other importance today. And it's history, and it's my guest. Welcome to Better Life Television. Bernice, you are how old?
99.
Yeah.
I'll be 100 in September the 14th.
Well, folks, be sure to write her Bernice a birthday card. But you're an incredible woman. Now, I am so pleased to get acquainted with you. I met you because you have a friend. A friend of how many years? Juanita is...
It must be going on about 60, I guess.
About 60 years ago, your friend lived in Brazil, is that right?
That's right.
And you were pen pals, is that right?
Yes, through my dentist.
Okay.
I got acquainted with her through my dentist.
And where was this?
In Eagle Point, Oregon.
Oh, your dentist was in Eagle Point, and this Juanita was in what?
Brazil.
In Brazil.
Yeah,
and you
Brazil.
became pen pals.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, now let's jump over and meet somebody else. You are,
I am Evelyn Wagner.
and
I also know Juanita Kretschmeyer, and we are very good friends. I've known her for a long time, and I got this letter from Juanita.
now you're not pen pals exactly,
Well, no, we've been friends since college,
okay?
and then they were our pastor. She and her husband were pastors when my husband and I first got married many, many years ago.
How many?
Well, it was about 53 years ago. So that was quite a while.
And now, you get a letter, or was it even more modern than that, from Juanita?
Well, I get letters from her. In fact, I have gotten, ever since for the last 50 years, Juanita and I have corresponded. But now we're on email.
Okay, you get an email in Southern Oregon saying,
It said, I have a special friend. Her name is Bernice. And she's 99 years old. She lives by herself. She does so many things. She's an incredible woman. I would like to have you go and meet her. And of course, I wrote back and said, I would love to meet her. And I thought of you, Bernie. I thought, 99 years old, there's some history here. And so Bernie's into history. And so I called Bernie and said, would you go with me? And she said, sure. So we got to come out and meet you.
well, this is fun because you've brought along somebody with you, or she brought you. Which way does it go? You are
Brought
Linda.
her,
Linda, how do you fit into this picture of 99?
I'm her granddaughter. And
The youngster in the crowd here.
Yep.
You said you just
turned 50.
and she is the youngster here. How does it happen that you want to brag about Grandma?
Well, she's just been so special to the whole family. She's just always been such a good cook, and always given us special cookies every time we'd come over to see her and stuff. She always had special cookies and candies that she'd give us. And
Her
Speaking
husband
of,
wants lemon pie.
again, he likes lemon pie.
Yeah, he likes lemon pie.
So do I. I'll tell
Well, if
you.
I'd known that, I'd have brought you one.
Well, I'll come over and get it.
Okay.
Because we're taping this show, and you will get a copy of it. And I'd just love to bite into one of these, but I'll just wait a little bit longer. What kind of cookie is this one?
Pizzelli,
And you make it with a what?
an iron. Like a waffle iron, only it's thin.
And is it electric?
It's electric, yes.
So you're not afraid of trying new things?
No, I like to try new things.
What?
When we were there, do you remember the candy she gave us? I have never eaten such candy. What do you call the candy? The candy that you made that you
Well,
shared
I
with
make-
us?
I make truffles and marshmallow deals and there's various different kinds.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yes.
5 kinds of candy.
Around Christmas time,
How many boxes did you make?
around 30.
30 boxes, and you give them away.
Yes, I give them away.
And we were lucky enough to have some of those. Where did you learn all these clever skills? Did Grandma teach you?
No,
Okay.
my candy, I just kind of picked it up, and friends that wanted, homemade stuff, and I just kind of experimented and went from there.
Because you are a cook, after all.
Well, yeah, that was my business. I was in the restaurant business for years. So.
And this is your restaurant.
Yes.
What's the name of it, and where is it?
It was in Eugene, Oregon. It was called the Stone Hut.
Well, it is made of stone.
It's
is that right?
stone. It's stone veneer. Hmm.
And you have a picture that is, this is a drawing.
Yes.
Now, oh my, look at the prices. A hamburger sandwich, 15 cents. 1.5.
Years ago,
And French fries. What about these French fries?
Well, the first little restaurant that I had was, I called it a hole in the wall. A friend of mine that I had worked for in the restaurant business, she quit and she bought this little place, but she didn't like it, so she told me, she says, Bernice, if you want this, you can have it for $7.50.
You mean
Well,
that
that
what,
was just some hamburger and stuff that she had, And so I said, okay, I'll try it. So I went in, and it was horrible because there was an old wood stove, and the ashes went down in the oven. And so I had Yenny, the plumber across the street, build me a chimney-like deal with a hole, door in it. And I'd put my big French fry kettle down in there. And, in those days, they didn't serve French fries, only on special orders. And so it was so easy for me that I served French fries with everything. And before long, there was a line out there to get in. People wanted French fries. They didn't get them.
on a wood stove in a kettle down into to get it hot enough?
Well, yes, but then that's why I had him build me this chimney-like deal, gas chimney-like deal, so I could set the French fry kettle right down in it. And that way I could cook a lot of them. But
You had people coming out the restaurant door, lined up, waiting for French fries
oh yes,
and other things.
yes, because I gave French fries with everything,
Oh, I can see that, this is this was right on 99?
Yes,
Highway 99.
right out of Eugene.
Well, tell me about your family. Did they come to the West early on? Where did they come from?
Well, I was born in Madras, Oregon. My grandmother came from England. She is pure English.
Is this Grandma?
That's my grandmother.
And
And
what
my-
about your dad?
My grandfather, he said he was Scotch and Irish, but I don't know.
And who's this girl?
That's my mother.
That would be your great-grandma and your
Yeah.
great-great-grandma.
Yes.
Now, did you ever know either of these women?
Just
Pardon?
my great grandma.
You did.
Mm-hmm.
What was she
Oh, yeah.
like?
No, she was something else too.
Mm.
She didn't really have all her faculties in the later years and stuff. She thought my grandma was her mom and stuff. So my grandma ended up taking care of her right up to the time she passed away. She passed away at 98 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So often that happens, that the reverse role, the daughter becomes the mom.
Mm-hmm.
But she was very active too. She, worked out in the garden with grandma and stuff. Just mentally wasn't quite all there.
So she wasn't baking cookies like your grandma.
No.
Now, is this the same woman?
That was my grandmother. That'd be her great-great-grandmother.
And the same lady.
Yes, yes.
And
Of course, that was later in life, the big one, you know.
notice that this is a tinted picture, folks. Remember tinting? They put a little bit of color on what was it, like a Q-tip?
I don't
Yes,
know.
yeah, they did in those days.
And then you could have colored pictures, because you have one here. Who's this handsome cuss?
That was my son.
Oh,
The same little boy
Yes,
here?
uh-huh.
Now, this
That was his first haircut there.
and so she saved a bunch of locks.
Yeah.
That was so,
That's a mother for you.
oh yes, thank goodness for it. And this is who?
That was my aunt. That was one of my aunts, I should say.
And
Elsie was her name.
Aunt Elsie.
Uh-huh.
Where did she live? Is she an Oregonian also?
Yes, she was an Oregonian, but
I particularly like this headdress. It must have been high fashion in the 20s.
yes, and she dressed quite fancy too.
Well, this is the cutest one. I want to put it right next to you and say, folks, can you see? In fact, this is an early day. How old do you think you were here?
Around 20.
You look an awful lot alike, don't you think?
I don't know.
You and your granddaughter look a lot alike. You've got the oldest picture here of the whole bunch, I think. What in the world is this? This is you.
Well, in Eugene, they celebrated, they had a centennial I guess it was every 50 years. And all the ladies were supposed to dress in old-fashioned dresses, and the men put on their tall hats and stuff.
So that's the way Eugene people dressed up, just to celebrate.
Celebrate, yeah.
Well, there's so many things I'd like to talk to. And maybe the first one we ought to cover is, how did you get so interested in putting your history together in this gorgeous album? What's the story?
Well, I was doing some scrapbooking classes, and at one of them they gave us some papers on making a heritage album and how important it was to, get that, before it was too late to get it from your older relatives and stuff. And so I just got a little small micro cassette and went and spent hours interviewing her and putting it all into little cassettes, and then typed it all out on the computer, and then cropped it all down and stuck it in an album for her.
Well, pick that up and show us what you did.
Well, she made that quite a few
So-
years ago, too.
Yeah.
A big fat book all about Grandma. Now, it starts out with the family tree and goes to,
Where do you want me to tilt it?
you don't have to. I love this flag. We don't even know how many stars it has, but they go this way and this way, short. And I'd like somebody to tell me just what years that was the American flag. And who is Ulysses?
Ulysses S. Grant, that was my grandfather.
The one and only Ulysses S. Grant?
Mm-hmm.
Not just somebody named for him.
Well, that was what he called himself anyway.
Ah, okay. Well, do you have any stories about Grandpa?
Mm-mm.
This book is just wonderful. Hazel
Hazel was my sister.
and Helen.
My grandmother was
Hazel
named
and
Helen.
Helen.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, now, show us another page so we can just learn a little bit more about your family as they grow up and grow older. Show me a picture of you. Oh my goodness, look at that. Jack, now what's it like to look at your teenage years in an album? There she is. Bernice in 1930. I wasn't even born then. Not even my husband, Bernice. Oh,
Turn
24.
the page.
look at that vehicle. I wished I had that now. It'd be worth more than money. What is it? Grace dressed up for the centennial.
Talking about vehicles, you know, my grandfather had the first white steamer that came into Portland.
Oh?
It run by steam some way. Of course, that was before I was born.
Oh, there's your restaurant.
This is a photograph of it.
The hut.
Hmm.
Now, do you remember opening day? Was it?
Oh yes, I remember opening day, and many more days. A lot of work.
What kind of hours were you open?
Well, didn't open real early in the morning, but I stayed open quite late at night.
All those college students coming in.
Yes, yeah, a lot of college kids, and it was during the war, and of course, when the servicemen came in, then some of my help would be missing.
Oh, are you telling me the young ladies would get their just turn their eyes away from waiting tables and
Oh yes,
off they go? Now, is this a picture of you in your fur?
that's me, and that's my sister.
Oh, what?
This is her home here. That's taken in front of her home.
Oh,
And that's a lake right here.
it's the lake?
It's on the edge of a lake. That's the
And
bank there.
Well, you have your own lake. Let's look at a picture of your home now. This one was where? This lake?
Well, you call it Central Point, I guess.
No, where this lake was, your sister's
Oh,
house.
that one. It was in Eugene, Oregon.
Okay, and here is this absolutely spectacular view from your window.
Yes, my kitchen window looks on that, and I watch the ducks. And over here, I watch the horses.
Because your place is what you'd call a vantage. You have the beautiful, this is clear across the whole valley. You get to view from your place,
Yes.
right?
And then the property over this way, it belongs to them,
To them.
Yeah.
When I met you for the very first time, Juanita met me over in Weimar, I think, or Rogue River.
We met together in Rogue River, right?
And she said, I want you to meet this incredible woman and her granddaughter. Well, the rest is history. I have been so anxious to have you on TV. You've lived almost 100 years.
Well, we'll be in September.
Will you come back and so we can do another show?
If I'm alive.
I think there's a pretty good chance you're going to be alive. We started out talking about Juanita Kretschmar, and she had another name before that, Juanita
Thibault.
And this young lady had a vision that she could do a nature museum, and she has these lovely, lovely pictures of animals, and they're there if you ever get a chance to go to Key West. Wouldn't the four of us have fun going to
wouldn't
Florida?
it be wonderful. I'd love to go.
Now, this book is available by just writing to the Kretschmars in Big Pine Keys, Florida.
Yes.
Key Encounter is an opportunity for people to share their favorite things, and they happen to love birds, and what else?
The pictures they have wonderful pictures of underwater sea creatures. And then what they've made since we were there was astronomy, the heavens, and then it ends with animated pictures of Christ coming again.
Now,
It is
have
really
you been
incredible.
there?
I have been there. It's been years ago. Yes, it is anybody that's anywhere near Key West needs to go. It is worth every bit of it.
Yeah, because all of us are acquainted with the same people, which is as far from here as we could get, and
That's
still
tough.
be in the lower 48. You've been a modern woman all your life. Is that right? You were working, providing for yourself and your son
Yep.
during the war.
Mm-hmm.
And weren't foods hard to come by in your restaurant, or how did you manage?
Not particularly then. A few years before that, they had a depression, and things were kind of rough.
And is that how you happened to buy the restaurant for such a little amount of money? How much did it cost you the first time?
Oh, the first time? Oh, I didn't buy the restaurant. I just bought some food that was in it. $7.50. The lady wanted out, and so I said, well, I'll try it. I sold it for $500 cash.
Ooh! And then what did you do after you sold that first restaurant?
Well, the man, I had to sign a contract that I wouldn't go into business around him. And I didn't, but it wasn't very long till he went broke. You can't buy someone's business unless you do what they do, And he didn't cook right, and so people were used to getting their French fries and different things, and he didn't want to provide it, so he went broke. So she and I went in business together it was across the street in a big building that was Yenny the plumber. And he moved someplace, and so we had a business in there. We had quite a few large tables, and then we also had some booths and a long counter, and we did real well in there, real well.
Your $500 investment just...
Yes, it was, we done well in there.
And then you came to this restaurant. This was the winner, huh?
Well, that one, I'd had several of between this one and the first one, but this was the last one in Eugene.
And notice that they sold advertisement on the back of the menu. I thought that was a brand new thing with this super saturated advertising, but you had to go here in the earliest times. Chicken dinner's 85 cents, and that comes with fried chicken, large order, French fries, your special French fries. By that time, you weren't still using wood stove, were you?
Oh, no.
And then a salad and a fruit cocktail and bread and a drink and jelly. I'd like to come to your restaurant. My 85 cents would go real far. Now, are you still cooking?
I cook for myself and have company once in a while.
And anybody that comes by, do they get cookies?
Not my friend over there. She comes to see me quite often.
Yes, you've brought a friend. You want to tell us about her?
Well, she's a special friend, and there are not many like her.
And her name is?
Her name is Sandra Brown.
And she comes from where?
Out of Eagle Point, someplace up there. Where is it, Sandra?
Lake Creek.
Oh,
Way up in the canyon. Oh, it's a wonderful part of Southern Oregon. I hope you folks have a chance to go on a Sunday drive and find Lake Creek, and they saved the covered bridge out that way, right? And Lost Creek is not far from it. We have just a few minutes left. What would you like to tell us youngsters who are watching you today on TV? What's your secret?
Well, healthful living is one, and living close to the Lord, of course, is my priority. I don't feel like I can do anything without my Lord. See, and He guides me and directs me.
Now, you've got a minute to tell us about Grandma. What's she mean to you?
Well, it's been especially nice this last year having her living right next door to us and getting close to her and stuff, because she's just always been there for the whole family, and she's just always there helping everybody that needs help with anything. So.
Juanita, no, your name isn't Juanita. We've been talking about our mutual friend. Evelyn, what would you like to say about following through on a suggestion?
I think it's very exciting. Life can be very exciting if you think of it as an adventure. And we certainly, when I got that letter from Juanita, and we just had an adventure that's turned out wonderfully. Found this incredible lady, and it's really been fun getting to know you, Bernice. It has it's been special.
And I've invited Bernice back in 6 months because I want to see this 100-year-old, and I'm guessing that I'll get another plate of cookies. I wish I could share it with all of you. Just as soon as we're done filming today, I'll tell you, the 3 cameramen, the 3 of you, will be sharing your cookies.
They're sharing yours. We have more at home.
Oh, you have more at home. Well, thank you so much for being my guest. And thank you for telling stories about early Eugene, and early Southern Oregon, and for being such an incredible friend to Juanita for all these years.
Oh, yes. It's
God bless you. And we'll see you on Better Life Television. And if you have a story and a grandma you'd like to share, give me a call. You're at this station. I'm Bernie Martin Beck saying thanks for tuning in. What a privilege we've had today.